Manasora-sena Romancha-kampa-shutaranga-vajo Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Shingarathan Mandiramarjanado Yuktasya bhaktam saniyunjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Chaturvida Shri Bhagavad Prasada Swadana Triptan Haribaksha Sanghan Kvitraiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Shri Radhika Madhavayurabhara Madhurya Leela Gunarupanam Pratikshanaasvadanalolupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Nikunjayono Rati Keli Sedhai Yayali Bhiyukti Rapekshaniya Tatrati Daksharati Vallabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Sakshadaриtvena samasta shastre uktastatha bhavyateva sarve Kintu pravorya priya eva tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanara-vindam Yasya prasada bhagavad prasado Yasya prasada nagati kutopi Jayam stuvam stasa yasa Sri Sadyam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Neelamadava, Radha Neelamadava, Radhe. Jai. Jaya Radha Neelamadava, Radha Neelamadava, Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jai Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Sudarshana. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram, Jaya Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Om Shnupad Pramhamsa Pachikacharya Shtota Shatashishmat His Divine Grace Aparchana Rinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBTP I found Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Shnupad Pramhamsa Pachikacharya Shtota Shatashishmat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premi se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvipa Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagnapuri Dham Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samavrita Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Mahashivaratri Mahosava Ki Jai Gopeshwara Mahadev Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Lada Dahine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimha. Yato yato yami tato Nasimha. Bahir Nasimha Rudaye Nasimha. Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade. Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhinga Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. जय केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की, भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा बाबू ए अभिलाषी राधा कृष्ण सेवा बाबू ए अभिलाषी Ruparasi. Nivedana Dara Sakiranugata Koro. Shiva Adhikara Diye Korone Jadasi. Dina Krishna Dase Ko E Namo Raho. Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadaye Nabasi. Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadaye Nabasi. Namo Namah Tulasi Krishna Prayasi. Namo Namah Yani Kani Chapapani Pramatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Pranashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade. Yani Kani Chapapani Brahmatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Pranashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade. Yani Kani Chapapani Brahmatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Pranashanti Pradakshina Pade Pade. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Vinde Devi, Jaya Vinde Devi, Jaya Vinde Devi, Jaya Vinde Devi. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Vrindaya Tulasi Devaya Piyaya Keshava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavadaya Namo Namaha. Vrindaya Tulasi Devaya Piyaya Keshava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavadaya Namo Namaha. Vrindaya Tulasi Devaya Piyaya Keshava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pade Devi Satyavadaya Namo Namaha. Vrinda Devi Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Oh Tulasi, beloved Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. My desire to the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has wish fulfilled. Please have mercy upon him and make him a resident of Vrindavana. My desire also grant me residence in the precious groves of Shri Vrindavana Dham. Thus within my vision I shall always behold the beautiful person Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me follower of Karho Dance of the Virgin. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me own maid servant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna prays. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govind. Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. So today is Mahashivratri. We'll celebrate in the evening. There are 10 offenses to be avoided in the matter of chanting holy names, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who dedicate their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods of Shiva or Brahma, to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature pursuing Vedic version. 5. To consider the glorious chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation of the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activity and strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Vedas the fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments even after sending so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success, Krishna, Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as I choose, who can fulfill to everyone their full compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shakshastakam ki jai. Jeto darpana marjanam pavamaha davakni nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnarmita Sadhanam Sarvatmasnapanam Paramvijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadishi Tavakripa Bhagavam Mamapi Durudevami Disham Iha Janina Nurakaha Trinatapi Sunijena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadaharihi न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनीश्वरे भवता भक्तिर्हैतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवां पुधा कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितदूरी सतीशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलताश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकानिचितं वपुर्कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रविशायितं शून्यायितं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे आश्लिष वा पादरतां पिन्नस्तु माम् अदर्शनां मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टकम की जय। Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which consists of all the dasa committed for years and distinguishes five conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is prime benediction of humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction of human beings. Thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have vested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, our kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate and have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Oh, my Lord, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Sahamarjananda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decorative, tear of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, while my voice choke up, or the hairs of my body stand and recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling of separation, I am considered moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Aarti prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savatutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pajatete Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhani Devi Daidaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premada Shrupa Nukha Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupa Nuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dwanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Svarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaurarvir Bhava Bhumistvam Nirteshta Sajanapriyaha Vaishnava Sarabhamashi Jagannathayate Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Svarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sratho Pango Mamamanda Mater Gati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Dvindadanya Kalpadu Mata Shimadara Nagara Singhasanasto Shimadrata Shila Govinda Devo Prishtaripi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasaram Bivam Shivata Tatastitaha Karsham Venu Saner Gopir Gopinatha Shiyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Mangalacharna prayers ki jai. Shri Brahma Samhita prayers ki jai. So today we'll read the chant until the verse 45 and also read the translation up to that verse. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadyaradya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasukapa Viksha Raksha Reteshu Surabi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shatasam Parmasevyamanam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venung Kavanantam Aravinda Talayatакшam Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Gandharva Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantaka Lasa Vanamara Vamshi Ranangadam Panayakeri Kalavilasam Shamam Tipanga Lalitam Nyatapakasham Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani Yasya Sakalindriya Vritti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chimma Satujala Vigrahasya Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Advaitam Achotam Anadi Mananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakta Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Bantastu Koti Shatavasara Sampragamyo Vayuratapi Manaso Munipangavanan Sopiasti Yapapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sarachayitum Jagadanta Kotim Yachakti Rasti Jagadanta Chayaya Dantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Pavitadiyo Manujasthateva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Bhushaha Suktayam Eva Nigama Patitaistu Vanti Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimme Rasa Patibhavitabis Tapiya Evan Jarupa Taya Kalabihi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhutto Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundam Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalanyamena Tishtan Nanavatarama Karo Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Parama Pumamyo Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yasya Prabha Bhavato Jagadanta Koti Koti Shesha Vesudhadi Vibhuti Binam Tat Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Maya hi yasya jagadanta shatani sute Traigunya tad vishaya veda vidaya mana Sattva valampi parasattvam vishuddha sattvam Govindam madi purusham tamaham bhajami Ananda chimme rasatmataya manasu Ya praninam pratipalang samaratang upetya Lila itena bhuvanani jaya tejasram Govindam madi purusham tamaham bhajami Goloka namni nijadamni talechatasya Devi mahesha haridama suteshu teshu Te prabhavan chaya vihitasya yena Govindam madi purusham tamaham bhajami Shishti stiti pralaya sadhana shaktireka Chayeva yasya bhuvanani biparti durga Ichana rupam epyascha cheshtate sa Govindam madi purusham tamaham bhajami Kshiram yatha dadi vikara vishesha yoga Sanjayate nahi tatha pitagaste hetoho Yasham putam api tatha samupaiti karyat Govindam mahadi purusham tamaham bhajami Krishna, who is not Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, has eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes. I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire, in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purple trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes. I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with a moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending forms of Shyamasundara is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus the full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of the transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without beginning, whose form is endless, who is a beginning, and eternal Purusha, yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency, possesses the sixfold artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakhis, embodiments of the extension of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever-blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundara, Krishna himself with inconceivable innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, who manifests himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc. as his subjective portions.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in the Upanishads. Being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe, appears as the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth.
I worship Govinda, the primary Lord, who is the absolute substantive principle, being the ultimate entity in the form of the support of all existence, whose external potency embodies the threefold mundane qualities, that is, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and diffuses the Vedic knowledge regarding the mundane world.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose glory ever triumphantly dominates the mundane world by the activity of his own pastimes, being reflected in the mind of recollecting souls as a transcendental entity of ever blissful cognitive rasa.
Lowest of all is located Devi Dhamma, mundane world. Next above it is Mahesh Dhamma, abode of Mahesha. Above Mahesh Dham is placed Hari Dham, abode of Hari. And above them all is located Krishna's own realm named Goloka. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who has allotted their respective authorities to the rulers of those graded realms.
The external potency, Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the same primeval Lord Govinda in accordance with those whose will Durga conducts herself.
Just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from its cause, that is milk. So I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Shambhu is a transformation for the purpose of the work of destruction. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai.
Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. Shrunvatam swakata Krishna punya sravana kirtanah hridayanta hi sohi abhadrani vidunoti suhritsatam nasta prayesva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha zayasche चेतयेतर अनावेदम सितम सत्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद् भक्ति योगतः भगवत् तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथे सिद्ध्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes unleavened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagram. Understanding of the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 34. Tadvam amusya paramasya vikunta bhartu kartum prakrastam prakristam iha dhimahi manda dibhyam lokan ito vrajatam antarabhava drishyam papi yasas traya imir ripavosya yatra tad. Therefore, vam, unto these two, amusya of him, Paramasya, the supreme, Vikunta Bhartu, the Lord of Vaikunta, Kartum, to bestow, Prakristam, benefit, Iha, in the matter of his offense. Dhimahi, let us consider, Manda Dibhyam, those whose intelligence is not very nice. Lokan, to the material world. Itaha, from this place. Vaikunta. Vrajatam, go. Antarabhava, duality. Drishya, on account of seeing. Papi Yashaha, sinful. Trayaha, three. Ime, these. Ripavaha, enemies. Asya, of living entity. Yatra, where. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, let us consider how these two contaminated persons should be punished. The punishment should be apt, for thus benefit can eventually be bestowed upon them. Since they find duality in the existence of Vaikuntha life, they are contaminated and should be removed from this place to the material world, where the living entities have three kinds of enemies. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The reason why pure souls come into the existential circumstances of the material world, which is considered to be the criminal department of the Supreme Lord, is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7 chapter verse 27. It is stated that as long as a living entity is pure, he is in complete harmony with the desires of the Supreme Lord. But as soon as he becomes impure, he is in disharmony with the desires of the Lord. By contamination, he is forced to transfer to this material world, where the living entities have three enemies, namely desire, anger, and lust. These three enemies force the living entities to continue material existence. And one is free from them, he is eligible to enter the kingdom of God. One should not therefore be angry in the absence of an opportunity for sense gratification, and one should not be lusty to acquire more than necessary. In this verse, it is clearly stated that the two doormen should be sent into the material world, where criminals are allowed to reside. Since the basic principles of criminality are sense gratification, anger, and unnecessary lust, persons conducted by these three enemies of the living entity are never promoted to Vaikuntha Loka. People should learn Bhagavad Gita and accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as the Lord of everything. They should practice satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord instead of trying to satisfy their own senses. Training in Krishna consciousness will help one to be promoted to Vaikuntha. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 35. Tesam itiritam ubhav avadharya ghoram tam brahmadandam anivaranam astrapugai sadyo harer anuchara urubhipyastat pada grahav apatatam atikatarena. Tesham of the four Kumaras, iti thus, iritam uttered, ubhav both doorkeepers, avadharya understanding, ghoram terrible, tam that, brahmadandam curse of a brahmana, anivaranam not able to counteract it, ashtapugai by any kind of weapon, sadhya at once, hare of the Supreme Lord, anucharau devotees, uru very much, bibhyataha became fearful, tatpadagrahau grasping their feet, apatatam fell down, atikatarena in great anxiety. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the doormen of Vaikuntha Loka, who were certainly devotees of the Lord, found that they were going to be cursed by the Brahmanas, they at once became very much afraid and fell down at the feet of the Brahmanas in great anxiety. For a Brahmana's curse cannot be counteracted by any kind of weapon. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although by chance the doormen committed a mistake by checking the Brahmanas from entering the gate of Vaikuntha, they were at once aware of the gravity of the curse. There are many kinds of offenses, but the greatest offense is to offend a devotee of the Lord. Because the doormen were also devotees of the Lord, they were able to understand their mistake and were terrified when the four Kumaras were ready to curse them. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 36. Bhuya dagoni bhagavadir akari dando yo no hareta surahelanam api asesham mavo nutapakalaya bhagavat smriti grahano maho bhave dihatau nau vrajator adodaha. Bhuyat, let it be, agoni, for the sinful, Bhagavad by you, Akari was done, Dandaha punishment, yeah, that which now in relation to us, Hareta should destroy, Surahelanam, disobeying great demigods, Api certainly, Ashesham, unlimited, Ma not, Vaha of you, Anutapa repentance, Kalaya by a little, Bhagavat of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Smriti Gnaha destroying the memory of moha illusion, bhavet should be iha in the foolish species of life. Two, but now of us, vrajato, who are going adau adaha, adaha, down to the material. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After being cursed by the sages, the doorman said, "It is quite apt that you have punished us for neglecting to respect sages like you. But we pray that due to your compassion, not our repentance, the illusion of forgetting Supreme Personality of Godhead will not come upon us as we go progressively downward." Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. To your devotee, any heavy punishment is tolerable, but the one which affects forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord, The doormen, who were also devotees, could understand the punishment meted out to them, for they were conscious of the great offense they had committed by not allowing the sages to enter Vaikuntha Loka. In the lowest species of life, including the animal species, forgetfulness of the Lord is very prominent. The doormen were aware that they were going to the criminal department of the material world, and they expect that they might go to the lowest species and forget the Supreme Lord. They prayed, therefore, that this might not happen to the lives they were going to accept because of the curse. In Bhagavad Gita 16 chapter verses 19 and 20, it is said that those who were envious of the Lord and his devotees are thrown into the species of abominable life after life. Such fools are unable to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore they continue going down and down. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 37. Evam tadaiva bhagavan aravindanabha swanam vibhudya sad atikramam arya hridya tasmin yayo paramahamsa mahamuninam anveshaniya charanau chalayan sahasrihi. Evam, thus, tada eva, at the very moment, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality Godhead, Arvindanabha, with a lotus growing from his navel, Swanam, of his own servants, Vibhudhya, learned about Sat to the great sages, Atikramam, the insult, Arya of the righteous, Hridaya, the delight, Tasmin, there, Yayo went, Paramahamsa, recluses, Mahamuninam, by the great sages, Anveshaniya, which are worthy to be sought. Chirano, the two lotus feet, Chalayan, walking, Sahasrihi, with the goddess of fortune. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. At that very moment, the Lord, who is called Padmanabha because of the lotus grown from his navel, and thus is the delight of the righteous, learned about the insult offered by his own servants to the saints. Accompanied by his spouse, the goddess of fortune, he went to the spot on those very feet sought for by recluses and great sages. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord declares that his devotees cannot be vanquished at any time. The Lord could understand that the quarrel between the doormen and the sages was taking a different turn, and therefore he instantly came out of his place and went to the spot to stop further aggravation, so that his devotees, the doormen, might not be vanquished for good. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 38. Tam tva agatam pratihra taupayikam swapumbes te chakshata kas taksha visayam swasamadhi bhagyam hamsasriyor vrajanayo Sivaya Vayuloka Chubratapatra Sasikeshara Sikarambum. Tam, him, too, but Agatam, coming forward, Pratihrita, carried, Aupayukam, the paraphernalia, Swaspumbihi, by his own associate, Te, great sages, the Kumaras, Achakshata sa Aksha Vishayam, now a subject matter for seeing, Sa Samadhi Bhagavan, visible simply by ecstatic trance, Hamsasriyo, as beautiful as swans, Vyajanoya, the chamaras, bunches of white hair, Sivavayu, favorable winds, Lolat, moving, Subra Atapatra, the white umbrella, Shashi, the moon, Keshara, pearls, Sikara, drops, Ambam, water. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The sages headed by Sanaka Rishi saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who was formerly visible only within their hearts in ecstatic trance, had now actually become visible to their eyes. As he came forward, accompanied by his own associates bearing all paraphernalia, such as an umbrella and a chamara fan, the white bunches of their hair moved very gently. His like two swans, and due to their favorable breeze, the pearls but due to their favorable breeze, the pearls garlanding the umbrella also moved, like drops of nectar falling from the white full moon or my ice melting due to a gust of wind. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In this verse, we find the word Achakshataksha Vishayam. The Supreme Lord cannot be seen by ordinary eyes, but he now became visible to the eyesight of the Kumaras. Another significant word is Samadhi Bhagyam. Meditators who are very fortunate can see the Vishnu form of the Lord within their hearts by following the yogic process. But to see him face to face is a different matter. This is only possible for pure devotees. The Kumaras, therefore, upon seeing the Lord coming forward from such associates who were who were holding an umbrella and a chamara fan, were struck with wonder that they are seeing the Lord, that they were seeing the Lord face to face. It is said in the Brahma Samhita that devotees being elevated in the love of God always see Shamasundara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being elevated. It is said in the Brahma Samhita that devotees being elevated in the love of God always see Shamasundara, Supreme Personality of Godhead, within their hearts. But when they are mature, the same God is visible before them face to face. For ordinary persons, the Lord is not visible. However, when one can understand the significance of His holy name and one engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, beginning with the tongue by chanting and tasting prasada, then gradually the Lord reveals Himself. Thus, the devotee constantly sees the Lord within his heart, and in more mature stage, one can see the same Lord directly as we see everything else. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 39. Krishna Prasada Sumukam Spruhaniya Dhamam Sneha Valoka Kalaya Hridi Santam Swami Prathav Urasi Sobhitaya Sriyaswas Chudamanim Subhagayantam Ivatmadishnayam. Krishna Prasada, blessing everyone. Sumukam, auspicious. Face, Sprananja, Spraniya, desirable. Dhama, sheltered. Sneha, affection. Avaloka, king. Avaloka, looking upon. Kalaya, by expansion. Hridi, within the heart. Samprasantam, touching. Shyami, unto the Lord with blackish color. Prathav, broad. Urasi, chest. Sobhitaya, being decorated. Shriya, goddess of fortune. Swaha, heavenly planets. Shuda Manim, summit. Subhagayantam, spreading good fortune. Eva, like. Atma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dishnayam, abode. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure. His auspicious presence is meant for everyone's benediction, and His affectionate, smiling, and glancing touch the core of the heart. The Lord's beautiful bodily color is blackish, and His broad chest is the resting place of the goddess of fortune, who glorifies the entire spiritual world, the summit of all heavenly planets. Thus it appeared that the Lord was personally spreading the beauty of good fortune of the spiritual world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the Lord came, He was pleased with everyone. Therefore, it is stated here, Krishna Prasada Sumukham. The Lord knew that even the offensive doormen were His pure devotees, although by chance they committed an offense at the feet of the other devotees. To commit an offense against a devotee is very dangerous in devotional service. Lord Chaitanya therefore said that an offense to a devotee is just like a mad elephant run loose. When a mad elephant enters a garden, it tramples all the planets. Similarly, an offense unto the feet of a pure devotee murders one's position in devotional service. On the part of the Lord, there was no offended mood, because He does not accept any offense created by His sincere devotee. But a devotee should be very cautious of committing offenses at the feet of another devotee. The Lord, being equal to all and being especially inclined to His devotee, looked as mercifully at the offenders as at the offended. This attitude of the Lord was due to His unlimited quality, quantity of transcendental qualities. His cheerful attitude towards the devotees was so pleasing and heart touching that his very smile was attractive for them. That attraction was glorious not only for all the higher planets of his material world, but beyond for the spiritual world also. Generally, a human being has no idea of what the constitutional position is in the higher material planets, which are far better constituted in regard to all positions of all paraphernalia. Yet the Vaikuntha planet is so pleasing and so celestial that it is compared to the middle jewel or rocket in a necklace of jewels. In these words, the words Spraniya Dhama indicate that the Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure because he has all the transcendental qualities, although only some of these are aspired by a person by or aspired for by persons who can offer the pleasure of merging into the impersonal Brahman. There are other aspirants who want to associate with the Lord personally as his servants. The Lord is so kind that he gives shelter to everyone, both impersonalists and devotees. He gives shelter to the impersonalists like his movement in his impersonal Brahman. The Lord is so kind that he gives shelter to everyone, both impersonalists and devotees. He gives shelter to the impersonalists in his impersonal Brahman effulgence, whereas he gives shelter to the devotees in his personal abodes known as the Vaikuntha Lokas. He is especially inclined to his devotee. He touches the core of the heart of the devotee simply by smiling and glancing over him. The Lord is always served in the Vaikuntha Loka by many hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. As stated with the Brahma Samhita, Lakshmi Sahasrashata Sambrama Sevyamanam. In this material world, one is glorified if he is forced even a pinch of the devotee of the god. In the material, one is glorified if he is favored even a pinch by the goddess of fortune. So we can simply imagine how glorified is the kingdom of God in the spiritual world, where many hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune engage in the direct service to the Lord. Vaikuntha pleasure is not another feature of this verse is that it openly declares that the Vaikuntha lokas are situated. They are situated as the summit of all the heavenly planets which are above the sun globe at the upper limit of the universe and are known as Satyaloka or Brahmaloka. The spiritual world is situated beyond the universe. Therefore, it is stated here that the spiritual world Vaikuntha Loka is the summit of all planetary systems. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 40. Pitam Sukhe Prutu Nitambini Vishpurayantya Kanchayalibhir Virutaya Vanamalaya Cha Valgu Prakostavalayam Vinata Sutam Se Vinayastahastam Itarena Dunanam Abjam Pita Amsuke, covered with a yellow cloth, Prutunitam on his large hips, Vispurantya, shining brightly, Kanchya with a girdle, Alibhi by the bees, Virutaya humming, Vanamalaya with a garland of fresh flowers, Cha and Valgu lovely, Prakosta rest, Valayam bracelets, Vinata Suta of Garuda, the son of Vinata, Amse on the shoulder, Vinasya Vinyasta rested, Hastam one hand, Itarena with another hand, Dunanam being 12, Abjam, a lotus flower translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He was adorned with a girdle that shone brightly on the yellow cloth covering his large lips, and he wore a garland of fresh flowers which was distinguished by humming bees. His lovely wrists were graced with bracelets and he rested one of his hands on the shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, and twirled a lotus with another hand. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Here is a full description of the personal of Godhead as personally experienced by the sages. The Lord's personal body was covered with yellow robes, and his waist was thin. In Vaikuntha, whenever there is a flower garland on the chest of the personality of Godhead or any of his associates, it is described that the humming bees are there. All these features are very beautiful and attractive for the devotees. One of the Lord's hands rested on his carrier Garuda, and in another hand he twirled a lotus flower. These are personal characteristics of the personality Godhead Narayana. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 41. Vidyutshipan makara kundala mandat narhata narha gandhastalonasa mukham manimat kiritam dordhanda sandha vivare harata parardhya harena kanda karakane gatena cha kaustubena. Vidyut, lightning, Shipat, outshining, Makara, alligator shape, Kundala, earrings, Mandana, decoration, Araha, as it fits, Gandhasthala, cheeks, Unnasa, prominent nose, Mukham, counter-eyes, Manimat, Janm, stubble, studded, Kiritam, crown, Dodhanda, of his four stout names, Danda group, Vivare, between, Harata, charming, Paraardhya, by the most precious, Harena, necklace, Kandara, Gatena, adorning his neck, Cha, and Kaustubena, by Kaustuba jewel. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His countenance was distinguished by cheeks that enhanced the beauty of his alligator shaped pendants, which outshone lightning. His nose was prominent, and his head was covered with a gem studded crown. A charming necklace hung between his stout arms, and his neck was adorned with a gem known by the name Kaustuba. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 15, Text 42. Atropastastam iti chotsamitam indriya swanam diya virachitam bahusaustavadhyam mahyam bhavesya bhavatam cha bhajantam angam nemu nirikshana viptra drisho muda like kai. Atra, here, in the matter of the beauty. Upasritam, curved down, iti, thus, cha, and utsmitam, the pride of her beauty, Indriya, of the goddess of fortune, Swanam, of his own desire, Dhiya, by intelligence, Virachitam, medicated on, Bahusasta, Saustava, Adhyam, very beautifully accepted. Mahyam, of me, Bhavasya, of Lord Shiva, Bhavatam, of all of you, Cha, and Bhajantam, worshipped, Angam, the figure, Nemu, bowed down, Niriksha, after seeing, Na, not, Vitrapta, satiated, Drisha, eyes, Muda, joyously, Kai, by their heads. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The exquisite beauty of Narayana, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of the goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. My dear demigods, the Lord who thus manifested himself is worshipable by me, Lord Shiva, and by all of you. The sages regarded him the unsated eyes and joyously bowed their heads at his lotus feet. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The beauty of the Lord was so enchanting that it could not be sufficiently described. The goddess of fortune is supposed to be the most beautiful sight within the spiritual and material creations of life of the Lord. She has a sense of being the most beautiful, yet her beauty was defeated when the Lord appeared. In other words, the beauty of the goddess of fortune is secondary in the presence of the Lord. In other words of Vaishnava poets, it is said that the Lord's beauty is so enchanting that it defeats hundreds of thousands of cupids. He is therefore called Madana Mohana. It is also described that the Lord sometimes becomes mad after the beauty of Radharani. Poets describe that under those circumstances, although Lord Krishna is Madana Mohana, he becomes Madana Daha, or enchanted by the beauty of Radharani. Actually, the Lord's beauty is super excellent, surpassing even the beauty of Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. The devotees of the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets want to see the Lord as the most beautiful, but the devotees of Gokula or Krishna Loka want to see Radharani as more beautiful than Krishna. The adjustment is that the Lord, being Bhakta Vatsala, or one who wants to please his devotees, assumes such features so that devotees like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods may be pleased. Here also, for the devotee sages, the Kumara, the Lord appeared in his most beautiful feature, and they continued to see him without satiation and wanted to continue seeing him more and more. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 43. Tasya Ravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargata Swavivarena Chakaratesham Sanshobham Akshara Jusham Api Ichitta Tanvo. Tasya of him, Aravinda Nayanasya of the lotus eyed Lord, Padaravinda of the lotus feet, Kinjalka with the toes, Mishra mixed, Tulasi the tulsi leaves, Makaranda fragrance, Vayu breeze, Antahagataha entered within, Swavivarena through their nostrils, Chakara made, Tesham of the Kumaras, Sankshobham agitation for change, Akshara Jusham attached to impersonal Brahman realization, Api even though, Chittatanvo in both mind and body. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It appears from this verse that the four Kumaras were impersonalists or protagonists of the philosophy of monism, becoming one with the Lord. But as soon as they saw the Lord's feature, their minds changed. In other words, the impersonalist who feels transcendental pleasure in striving to become one with the Lord is defeated when he sees the beautiful transcendental features of the Lord. Because of the fragrance of his lotus feet carried by the air and mixed with the aroma of tulsi, their minds changed. Instead of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, they thought it is wise to be devotees. Becoming a servitor of the lotus feet of the Lord is better than becoming one with the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 45. Teva amushya vadanasita padmakosham udvikshya sundarataradhara kundahasam labda sisha punar avaksha tadiyam angri dvandvam nakaruna manisrayanam nidhabdyu. They, those sages, why certainly Amusha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vadana face, Asita blue, Padma lotus, Kosham inside, Udviksha after looking up, Sundaratara more beautiful, Adhara lips, Kunda jasmine flower, Hasam smiling, Labda achieved, Asisha aims of life, Punaha again, Aveksha looking down, Tadiyam his, Angri Dandavam pair of lotus feet, Naka nails, Aruna red, Mani rubies, Srayanam shelter, Nidhabyu meditated. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord's beautiful face appeared to them like the inside of a blue lotus, and the Lord's smile appeared to be a blossoming jasmine flower. After seeing the faces of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied, and when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the walls of the Thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again. So they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal feature. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 45. Pumsam gatim mrugayatam iha yoga margair dhyanaspradam bahumatam nayanabhiramam Pumsham vapur darshayanam ananya siddher auta patikhai samagran yutam astabhogai. Pumsham, of those persons, gatim, liberation, mrugayatam, who are searching, iha, here in the world, yoga margai, by the process of Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Aspadam, object of meditation, Bahu, by the great yogis, Matam, approved, Nayana, eyes, Abhiramam, pleasing, Pumsnam, human, Vapuhu, form, Darshayanam, displaying, Ananya, not by others, Siddhai, perfected, Autpatikai, eternally present, Samagran, praised, Yutam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is endowed, Ashtabhogai, with 8 kinds of achievement. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary and but factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement. For others, these achievements are not possible in full perfection. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The success of the yoga process is very nicely described here. It is specially mentioned that the form of the Lord as four-handed Narayana is the object of meditation for the followers of Yoga Marga. In the modern age, there are so many so-called yogis who do not target their meditation on the four-handed Narayana form. Some of them try to meditate on something personal or void, but that is not approved by the great yogis who follow the standard method. The real Yoga Marga process is to control the senses, sit in a solitary and sanctified place, and meditate on the four-handed form of Narayana, decorated as described in this chapter as he appeared before the 4 sages. This Narayana form is Krishna's expansion. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement which is now spreading is the real topmost process of yoga practice. Krishna consciousness is the highest yoga performance by trained devotional yogis. Despite all the allurement of yoga practice, the 8 kinds of yogic perfections are hardly achievable by the common man. But here it is described that the Lord who appeared before the 4 sages is himself full of 8 of those perfections. The highest yoga marga process is to concentrate the mind 24 hours a day on Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness. The yoga system as described in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita or as recommended in the Patanjali yoga process is different from the nowadays practiced Hatha yoga as it is generally understood in the Western countries. Real yoga practice is to control the senses, and after such control is established, to concentrate the mind on the Narayana form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all other Vishnu forms are with 4 hands decorated with conch, lotus, club, and wheel are plenary expansions of Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is recommended that one meditate upon the form of the Lord. To practice concentration of the mind, one has to sit with the head and the back in a straight line, and one must practice in a secluded place, sanctified by a sacred atmosphere. The yogi should observe the rules and regulations of brahmacharya to strictly live a life of self-restraint and celibacy. One cannot practice yoga in a congested city, living a life of extravagancy, including unrestricted sex indulgence and adultery of the tongue. Yoga practice necessitates controlling the senses, and the beginning of sense control is to control the tongue. One who cannot control the tongue can also have control over the other senses. One cannot allow the tongue to take all kinds of forbidden food and drink and at the same time advance in the practice of yoga. It is a very regrettable fact that many unauthorized so-called yogis came to the Western countries and exploit people's inclination towards yoga practice. Such unauthorized yogis even dare to say publicly that one can indulge in the habit of drinking and the same time practice meditation. 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna recommended yoga practice to Arjuna, but Arjuna frankly expressed his inability to follow the stringent rules and regulations of the yoga system. One should be very practical in every field of activities and should not waste his valuable time in practice. Jagari. one should be very practical in every field of activities and should not waste his valuable time in practicing useless gymnastic feats in the name of yoga. Real yoga is to search out the search out the four-handed super soul within one's heart and see him perpetually in meditation. Such continued meditation is called samadhi, and the object of this meditation is the four-handed Narayana with bodily decorations as described in this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. If, however, one wants to meditate upon something void or impersonal, it will take a very long time before he achieves your success in yoga practice. We cannot concentrate our mind on something void or impersonal. Real yoga If, however, one wants to meditate upon something void or impersonal, it will take a very long time before he achieves success in yoga practice. We cannot concentrate our mind on something void or impersonal. Real yoga is to fix the mind on the form of the Lord, the four-handed Narayana who is sitting in everyone's heart. I meditate upon one hand, and by meditation one can understand that God is within one's heart. By meditation, one can understand that God is seated within one's heart. Even if one does not know it, God is reacted within the heart of everyone. Not only is he seated in the heart of the human being, but he is also within the hearts of cats and dogs. Bhagavad Gita certifies this fact by the declarations of the Lord, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshi. The Ishvara, the supreme controller of the world, he is seated in the heart of everyone. Not only is he in everybody's heart, but he is also present within the atom. No place is vacant or devoid of the presence of the Lord. That is a statement of Ishopanishad. God is present everywhere, and his right of proprietorship applies to everything. The feature of the Lord by which he is present everywhere is called Paramatma. The feature of the Lord by which he is present everywhere is called Paramatma. Atma means individual soul, and Paramatma means the individual super soul. But Atma and Paramatma are individual persons. The difference between the Atma and Paramatma is that the Atma or the soul is present only in his particular body, whereas Paramatma is present everywhere. In the connection, the example of the sun is very nice. An individual person may be situated in one place, but the sun, even though a similar individual entity, is present on the head of every individual person. In Bhagavad Gita, this is explained. Therefore, even though the qualities of all entities, including the Lord, are equal, the super soul is different from the individual soul by quantitative power of expansion. The Lord or the super soul can expand himself into millions of different forms, whereas the individual soul cannot do so. The super soul, being seated in everyone's heart, can witness everyone's activities, past, present, and future. In the Upanishads, the super soul is described as being seated with the individual soul as friend and witness. As a friend, the Lord is always anxious to get back his friend, the individual soul, and bring him back home, back to Godhead. As a witness, he is the bestower of all benedictions, and he endows each individual with the result of his actions. The super soul gives the individual soul all activities to achieve whatever he desires to enjoy in this material world. Suffering is a reaction to the living entity's prosperity to try to lord it over the As a witness, he is the bestower of all. The super soul, being seated in everyone's heart, can witness everyone's activities, past, present, and future. In the Upanishads, the super soul is described as being seated with the individual soul as friend and witness. As a friend, the Lord is always anxious to get back his friend, the individual soul, and bring back home, back to Godhead. As a witness, he is the bestower of all benedictions, and he endows each individual with the result of the action. The super soul gives the individual soul all facilities to achieve whatever he desires to enjoy in this material world. Suffering is a reaction to the living entity's propensity to try to lord it over the material world. But the Lord instructs his friend, the individual soul, who is also his son, to give up all other engagements and simply surrender unto him for perpetual bliss and an eternal life full of knowledge. This is the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita, the most authorized and widely read book on all varieties of yoga. Thus, the last word of Srimad Bhagavatam is the last word on the perfection of yoga. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that a person who is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness is the topmost yogi. What is karma? What is Krishna consciousness? As the individual soul is present in his by his consciousness throughout his entire body, or the super soul or Paramatma is present throughout the whole creation by super consciousness. This super conscious energy is imitated by the individual soul who has limited consciousness. I can understand what is going on within my limited body, but I cannot feel what is going on in another's body. I am present throughout my body by my consciousness, but my consciousness is not present in another's body. The super soul or Paramatma, however, being present everywhere and within everyone, is also conscious of everyone's existence. The theory that the soul and the super soul are one is not acceptable, because it is not confirmed by authoritative Vedic. The individual soul's consciousness cannot act in superconsciousness. This superconscious can be achieved, however, by dovetailing individual consciousness with the consciousness of the Supreme. This dovetailing process is called surrender or Krishna consciousness. From the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we learn very clearly that Arjuna in the beginning did not want to fight with his brothers and relatives, but after understanding the Bhagavad Gita, he dovetailed his consciousness with the super consciousness of Krishna. He was then in Krishna consciousness. A person in full Krishna consciousness acts by the dictation of Krishna. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, dictation is received through the transparent medium of the spiritual master. When one is sufficiently trained and acts in submissive faith and love for Krishna under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, the dovetailing process becomes more firm and accurate. This stage of devotional service by the devotee in Krishna consciousness is the most perfect stage of the yoga system. At this stage, Krishna or the super soul dictates from within, while from without the devotee is helped by the spiritual master, who is the bona fide representative of Krishna. From within he helps the devotee as Chaitya, for he is seated within the heart of everyone. Understanding that God is seated within everyone's heart is not, however, sufficient. One has to be acquainted with God from both within and without, and one must take dictation from within and without to act in Krishna consciousness. This is the highest perfectional stage of the human form of life, and the topmost perfection of all yoga. For a perfect yogi, there are 8 kinds of super achievements. One can become lighter than air. For a perfect yogi, there are 8 kinds of super achievements. One can become lighter than air. One can become smaller than the atom. One can become bigger than a mountain. One can achieve whatever he desires. One can control like the Lord, and so on. But when one rises to the perfectional stage of receiving dictation from the last word, that is greater than any stage of material achievements above mentioned. The breathing exercise of the yoga system is generally practiced is just the beginning. Meditation on the super soul is just another step forward. But to maintain direct contact with the super soul and take dictation from the highest perfectional stage, the breathing exercise of meditation practice were very difficult even 5000 years ago. Otherwise, Krishna would not have rejected the proposal of Krishna that he adopt this system. This age of Kali is called the fallen age. In this age, people in general are short-living and very slow to understand self-realization of spiritual life. They are mostly unfortunate, and therefore, if someone is a little bit interested in self-realization, he is likely this age of Kali is called the fallen age. In this age, people in general are short-living and very slow to understand self-realization of spiritual life. They are mostly unfortunate, and therefore, if someone is a little bit interested in self-realization, he is likely to be misguided by so many frauds. The only way to realize the perfect stage of yoga is to follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita as practiced by Lord Chaitanya. This is the simplest and highest perfection of yoga practice. Lord Chaitanya demonstrated this Krishna consciousness yoga system in a practical manner simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna as prescribed in the Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and many important Puranas. The largest number of Indians follow this yoga process, and in the United States, it is gradually spreading in many cities. It is very easy and practical for this age, especially for those who are serious about success in yoga. No other process of yoga can be successful in this age. The meditation process was possible in the golden age, Satyuga, because people in that age used to live for hundreds of thousands of years. If one wants success in practical yoga practice, it is advised that he take to the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and he will actually feel himself making progress. In Bhagavad Gita, this practice of Krishna consciousness is called as Raja Vidya, or the king of all erudition. Those who have taken to this most sublime bhakti yoga system, who practice devotional service in transcendental love of Krishna, can testify to its happy and sense satisfaction. The four sages Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara also became attracted by the features of the Lord and the transcendental aroma of the dust of his lotus feet, already described in verse 43. Yoga necessitates controlling the senses, and Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is the process of purifying the senses. When the senses are purified, they are automatically controlled. One cannot stop the activities of the senses by artificial means, but one who purifies the senses by engaging in the service of the Lord. The senses not only can be controlled from rubbish engagement, but can be engaged in Lord's not only can be controlled from rubbish engagement, but can be engaged in the Lord's transcendental service as aspired to by the four sages Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara. Krishna consciousness is not, therefore, a manufactured concoction of the speculative mind. It is a process enjoined in Bhagavad Gita 9.34. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Okay. We'll continue reading tomorrow from text 46.
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभु जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा श्रील गुरुदेवा श्री गुरु चरणा पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा गुरु चरणा पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा श्री गुरु चरणा पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्महा बंधो मोहि सावधान माते बंधो मोहि सावधान माते बंधो मोहि सावधान माते बंधो मोहि सावधान माते जहर प्रसादे भाई ए भव तोरिया जाय हर प्रसादे भाई ए भव तोरिया जाय कृष्ण प्राप्ति होय जहाँ होय ते कृष्ण प्राप्ति होय जहाँ होय ते कृष्ण प्राप्ति होय जहाँ होय ते प्राप्ति होय जहाँ होय ते गुरुमुख पद्म वख्या चिते ते कोरिया ख्या मुख पद्म वख्या चिते ते कोरिया क्या हर ना कोरी हो मने आशा हर ना कोरी हो मने आशा हर ना कोरी हो मने आशा हर कोरी हो मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा 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 चक्षुदाम दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदाम दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे ओ चक्षुदान दिल जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिल दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो हृदय प्रकाशितो ओ दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते होते अविद्या विनाशा ओ प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते हो वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम नर श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर लोके नाथ लोके राजीवाना लोके नाथ लोके राजीवाना हो लोके नाथ लोके राजीवाना हाँ हाँ प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया हाँ हाँ प्रभु कोरो दया हो मोरे पद ओ हाँ हाँ प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पद ओ हा हा प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पाद छाया प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पाद छाया हाँ प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पाद छाया हाँ प्रभु कोरो दया मोरे पाद छाया ए बेजाज गुशु त्रिभुवाना ए बेगाज गुशु वाना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना जय प्रभुपाद पतित पवन जय प्रभुपाद लोहिलो शराना जय प्रभुपाद लोहिलो शराना जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रीला प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रीला प्रभुपदा नमा ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमा ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निरविशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चादेशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे निप्रचारिणे निरविशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद नित्यानंद वेदा गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम ओ राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yo Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Ora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Bol, Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. जय ओम विष्णुपदा परहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य श्रोत्राश्रता श्री श्रीमती शिवानगिरी शिष्य भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. जय ओम विष्णुपदा परहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य श्रोत्राश्रता श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत जय गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई यमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंद, all glories to the assembled devotee, all glories to the assembled devotee, all glories to the assembled devotee, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attend pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and the master of the devotees. O Loknath Goswami, O Master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada.